Y'all can see across that pond over there, got Savannah herding cattle, herding them all in to the working pens. We're having to herd them instead of calling them today because the grass is so thick and so good they don't want to move. So you always start off trying to call them instead of herding them. But sometimes you have to push them. There's just no getting around it. We got to get these cattle up. We got to get them moved. They don't know why they have to move. Usually they have a lead cow that will tell them when it's time to move. But when you're the lead cow, you have to remember that if you're the lead cow, you have to push them. You have to be, you're not really even a lead cow, you're really a predator. You know, that's what you have to, you're a humane predator if you are managing your herd correctly. Predators are actually what caused animals in nature to live the best. They kept animals in nature moving. They kept animals in nature, they kept them strong. They kept them parasite free. They made sure they were always on clean pastures. Because without predators back in the day, animals wouldn't do what they needed to do. So nowadays, through farming practices and things like that, we've actually freed our land of a lot of different predators. Okay? But the downside to that is that means that we have to be the, you got to remember that now you have to be the predator. So keep that in mind, that you've got to be the predator of your herd, because we don't have predators. We don't have nearly as many. There are still a lot of predators, and you got to be aware. But we don't have nearly as many, so that's something you've got to be aware of, and you've got to think about that. You've got to be willing to get rid of the calls, the same as the predators would. You've got to be willing to push them, the way Savannah was just now, to make them move to another pasture when you need them to move, or to move them up to your working pens so you can get them worked. Get them sorted, get them separated. Sometimes you're selling some, sometimes you're calling some. It just depends. It's always good to get them into your working pens. The second thing is you always, when you're grazing your cattle, you want to graze them through your working pens. Don't leave your working pens out of your rotation. When you have your normal rotation of your cows, whether you're mob grazing or you are traditional, more like a rotational grazing, always leave your working pens in the rotation. That way they stay calm. They don't think of the, because otherwise they're going to start thinking of the of that pen as a bad place to be. They're going to think of it as a negative thing. But if you leave that as one of the places that you graze, you leave that working pen in your rotation, then they will always think of it as a good, calm place to be. You know, so that's the way we like to work our cattle, and it makes it significantly better. It makes it way more calm. Me and Savannah can get out there 95% of the time and work them by ourselves, and 90% of the time we can do it without being upset at each other. You know, every now and then when you work cows, some things kind of happen, and it can be tough. But for the most part, we can work them by ourselves without a whole lot of hassle. So, all right, guys, we're gonna sign off. Y'all like, subscribe, and hit the bell if you want to see all the videos, because you can't always see all of them unless you're hitting the bell.